Stan Druckenmiller. You guys know I love talking about him all the time because he's one of the greatest investors ever. Basically the Michael Jordan of investors, that's what everyone calls him. And in this Hedge Mind tweet, they explain that he's managed outside money for 30 years. And over those 3 decades, he's never had a down year. Out of 120 quarters, only 5 were down. And he had 30% compound returns over 30 years. That's an insane track record, especially when you think about the fact that he's managing billions. And Hedge Mind actually broke down his portfolio holdings over the last 6 years. Because you think, okay, Druck, you did this for 3 decades, but are you still doing it? Are you still that good? Probably not, right? Because, markets are so difficult, and to do that decade after decade is even more difficult. Eventually you got to age out or something or lose your touch. But nope, not Druck. So Hedge Mind analyzed Druck's 13F holdings. And a 13F is basically just a quarterly report that hedge funds have to file showing all their holdings as long as it's over $100 million. So Hedge Mind analyzed that and they put together a pretty cool presentation. So they cover portfolio performance and characteristics, stock holding statistics. So they analyzed 400 plus stock trades that Druck reported since 2013. So they found that Druck typically holds 30 stocks and he allocates over 60% of his funds to the top 10 stocks in that portfolio. 90% of the stocks that he gets into are over $2 billion in market cap. You can see his market cap focus, 73% are large cap and only 16% mid cap. And there's obviously a reason for that, because if you have billions of dollars, you can't be playing in small caps. All that money won't fit. You'll end up moving the prices too much. And it won't be liquid either when you're trying to get out. So Druck can only play in the really, really big stocks. And check out his returns. Over the last 6 years, you can see that he did over 27% on average per year. So he's still very close to that 30% a year average. He's still doing it. And the really crazy part is that he has a 70% success rate on the trades he's putting on, which is so high. Remember, I've explained this before, that a lot of hedge fund managers, they make asymmetric bets so that their win rate can be super low. And when I say super low, I'm talking like as low as 30%, because one big win should cover all their other losses. So you don't need that high of a win percentage. But Druck is over here having a win percentage of 70%. That's just crazy. And then what's also crazy is that over 80% of his positions, he holds them for less than a year. He's like a short-term trader somehow. Look at this, $3.17 billion. You don't see many investors being short-term traders and actually being successful. And then when you see a short-term trader on this amount of money, it's crazy. That's how you know Druck is like a special breed. And as Hedge Mind says, his 70% success rate out of over 400 trades is one of the highest among all the fund managers that they track. And you can see throughout the quarters of the last 6 years, only 2 down quarters of around 10%. You had these 2, which were basically break even. But as you can see, he fully recovered each time. Oftentimes he got the biggest green bar after the largest red bar here too. And you can kind of see how if you put 10,000 with him, how it would grow over the last 6 years. It'd be worth over 40,000 in 6 years. That's crazy. And look at the stuff he's invested in, his top winning stocks. You got Amazon, Workday, Coupons.com, Melly, Qualcomm, PayPal. And check it out, Amazon, Workday, Melly, Qualcomm, those are all stocks that we've invested in with the Nasdaq All-Stars. And the Nasdaq All-Stars, if you don't know, is a momentum system. We rank stocks in the Nasdaq 100 by their momentum, and we invest in the top movers. And I know a lot of professional investors like to make fun of momentum, calling it a bullshit strategy, but it's not. It's very effective. Like I said, we were in a lot of the same stocks that Druck was in. Now, obviously, Druck is a lot smarter, way more sophisticated, probably came to that conclusion in a different way, but from what I know about Druck's trading style, he tracks momentum too. He's trying to be in the movers, but he also includes fundamental analysis, sentiment analysis, and he's absolutely amazing at trading around positions and things like that, which is pretty obvious from the fact that most of his trades are short-term trades. Now, what Druck is really good at is getting a feel for the market. So he's able to read it. He becomes like one with the prices. So, he might get a feeling and jump out, and then all of a sudden the stock crashes 10%. These guys know so much, and it mixes in some special way in their head where they might not be able to explain everything they're doing. It's like the highest form of discretionary trading. Like, for example, George Soros, he used to feel a pain in his back, and that's when he knew he had to exit a position. That's how his son described it anyway. He's like, yeah, everyone thinks my dad is so smart, but really he just gets back pain and then he decides to do something. But obviously there's a lot of processes going on that we just can't see. And it's interesting because Druck Druck actually says, as HedgeMind quoted here, "The most troubling part about my future as a money manager, maybe ever, is the canceling of pricing signals." And in that interview that he did with Real Vision, he's talking about how algos have been screwing everything up. So for a guy that's used price for so long, for decades, and has been so successful, screwing up that tool of his, well, he's worried about it. Obviously, he's still doing pretty well, but he's not sure how that'll play out in the future. And I actually have a few videos about Druck and that interview coming out with Real Vision over the next few weeks. If you want to see those, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you get an email notification when they come out. And if you want to learn more about that Nasdaq All-Star system I was talking about that tracks momentum, just click this link right here. It'll take you to a video that explains all about it. So don't forget to subscribe because we're going to talk about Druck some more. And of course, stay fallible out there. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.